Thank you, Damodar Prabhu. He is our sweets man. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, the devotee who shaved Mahaprabhu stopped shaving afterwards, started making sweets. So similarly, after shaving, he started making sweets, and his sweets are really shaving himself. So as Madhavanand Prabhu makes his offering, I request Mahaprakash Prabhu to kindly be around.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण। So I had come with a plan to speak something. I had planned already because I came and asked Radha Gopinath Prabhu, am I in the list? So he said, yes, you are there. So I planned something. But then Shyamanand Prabhu began and he completely changed my plan. He started saying something which was so sweet. And then I thought, okay, I'll speak something, follow my heart. Of course, one thing which he said, it seems no one has agreed with him. He said, I don't want to speak about my personal thing, and that was probably he was suggesting the way to do it. But you can see that everyone has spoken something personal. And that is so beautiful and so endearing to our hearts. Because it is not our glorification, it is the glorification of Maharaj's mercy. Even though we are personally involved, it is his glory that whatever has happened with us. So I thought of a point how Maharaj is a friend to all of us, so loving. But when it comes to perform his duty as a guru, he is different. One time in the South India Yatra, His Grace Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Prabhupada disciple, he was describing Maharaj to us. And he was saying that whenever I was with Prabhupada, I knew nothing can go wrong. And same feeling I have when I'm with Maharaj. This is one thing he said. And then another thing he said, which is very important. He said, Prabhupada was real. And similarly, Maharaj is real. Now we may wonder, what do you mean by real? To give you an example, if you go and meet Rajinikanth in his house, you will not recognize him. I don't know how many people know Rajinikanth. It's a South India's hero. But when you see him on the screen, he's different. And in his house, he's totally different. You will not recognize this is Rajinikanth. So they don't come out in the public with without a particular makeup and everything. So the real self is different and the person is different. Whereas Maharaj, Prabhupada, they are real. Whatever they speak, there is no hypocrisy. There is no something to tell the world and something to live. And Maharaj obviously expects all of us to be also real. So I will just narrate few incidences where he tried to make me real and understand. Of course, I am still trying. There is you can say, a project which Maharaj has taken up to convert Madhai into Madhvanand. This is his project. So that is my real identity. From there, he wants me to bring to a Madhvanand Das. So how he does it? So one time, I asked Krishna Chandra Prabhu, Prabhu, you are so busy and I see you come late in the night and go early in the morning and so many flights and you are always traveling. How do you manage to chant? So he said, it was very difficult, but then I asked Devamrit Prabhu, that time Bhakti Sabhat Maharaj was known as Devamrit Prabhu. So he told me that, and I was attending the full morning program. So he said, Devamrit Prabhu told me that even if you don't attend Bhagavatam, it is fine, first you chant your rounds. So I immediately took that instruction for me also. And then, one day, that time, the congregation was growing and people were not able to meet Maharaj. So we decided that Maharaj will meet all the counselees with counselors. And Dwarkadis Prabhu started. And then I said, what did he do? So he told me exactly what he did, how he introduced, and I said, I'll follow this. Then I took all our counselees and went to Maharaj. And Maharaj had given a beautiful class. But I had that thing in my mind, I have to complete my rounds. So I didn't attend the class. I went down, I completed my rounds. Then in front of the counselees, Maharaj started saying, glorifying me. Madhvanand Das is like Haridas Thakur. And then, I don't know if it is Haridas Thakur or another one, but one of these devotees, they were described as a person, somebody can preach very nicely and somebody can behave very nicely. And he said, that was the qualification, he was both, and Madhvanand is like that. So it was like super glorification. And then he suddenly asked me, so how was my class? So I said, Maharaj, I couldn't attend your class because I had to chant my rounds. So immediately in front of all the counselors, I take back all my words. He is not what I described. So I got a very wonderful instruction that when Guru speaks, you have to be there to receive every drop of his word. Whatever he speaks, it's for you. Then another time, Maharaj made me the first temple president of Ram Jivai Satsang. He said, we got a temple donated to Maharaj. That time we were in League of Devotees. And I was the in charge. And everything what Maharaj wanted to go here, go there, I had to arrange. And I was not used to that. Braj was new to me. So Vrindavan, I saw how the devotees behave, the Brijvasis. And I slowly started imitating them. That's how externally we want to become devotees. So I was externally becoming a Brijvasi. So there are Brijvasis who are Brijvasis, that means they are original Brijvasis. And then there are new Brijvasis, which are ISKCON devotees. That means there is a difference. The ISKCON Brijvasis are different. They have a nice hat, socks, Nike shoes, goggles. So I was again impressed with that also. And I thought, some things I can do probably. I need to become a Brijvasi. So I decided to buy goggles. And I bought goggles, but not exactly goggles because I was also a little shy. So I bought glasses which were photochromic, and they could become, as the sun rises, they can become more darker and darker. And I was wearing. And Maharaj told me in the morning that today we are going to Barsana. So I arranged a car, and Maharaj came and sat, and I came and sat and put on my goggles. The new Brijvasi. So immediately Maharaj asked, what is this? When did you get glasses? So I had to be honest. I said, Maharaj, because there is so much dust in Braj that, I had to wear this. I had to give some excuse. I didn't tell him that I wanted to become a new Brijvasi. So that Maharaj he didn't even say anything. He just looked at it and made a face indicating it is not necessary. And immediately I understood that I made a big mistake. And I took out my glasses and never wore it again. I still don't have any goggles. Then also in ISKCON, we have a ISKCON lingo. And we have a particular way of saying things. When we meet devotees, like for example, Dandavats. We say Dandavats. We don't offer Dandavats, we just say Dandavats or Vancha. We don't even say the full mantra. So, this is a lingo in ISKCON. So, I'm also getting used to it. So, I was meeting some devotees and devotees would always say like this. Like Maharaj comes to your house, then Maharaj would say, what is this, what is this? And I heard devotees saying, this is all yours, Maharaj. This is all yours, Maharaj. This house belongs to you. This car is for you, Maharaj. This is a new car, new brand. This is yours. So, again, it's an external kind of thinking. So, Maharaj came to my house. And my wife, Vrindavan Rani, she had bought a swing which hangs from the ceiling. And my little son Achyut would sit in that. And we would swing him. And Maharaj came and Maharaj looked at it curiously and he said, what is this? Again, I'm a new Brijvasi. So I have the ISKCON lingo. I said, Maharaj, this is yours. And Maharaj said, again, how he instructs. He said, so what happens when I'm not using it? So this is what Radhanath Swami Maharaj is, that he wants us to become real, just like he is real. When he talks about whether it is humility, whether he is chanting the holy names, whatever action he does, it is all real. So, on this auspicious day of his appearance, I beg for the mercy of all the Vaishnavas and Maharaj that someday, from my unreal Madhai kind of being, I may become actually Madhvanandas. Hare Krishna.
After hearing Madhavanand Prabhu, I'm a little scared now. Because if I am real, I'll be speaking something else. But anyway, that is true. This hypocrisy and simplicity. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that simplicity is one of the qualities of a devotee. That they are very straightforward. What is inside comes out. Not diplomatic in a way of showing off. So as Mahaprakash Prabhu is making his offering, I will request Radhika Shanbag to be around.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So it was in March 2012. I remember standing at the Delhi airport waiting to receive Maharaj, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to get time to spend with Maharaj. I was there to receive Maharaj for a session which we had organized in the World Marketing Congress, and Maharaj sat in the car next to the driver's seat, and the person who was driving was Kanai Priya Prabhu, and I was sitting behind Maharaj, and on my right was Rajchandra Prabhu at the back. So Maharaj looked behind and he said, Kanai Priya Prabhu, let's do a role play. You are like Krishna who is driving the car. I am like Arjuna. And Rajchandra Prabhu, you are like Ganesh. And Mahaprakash Prabhu, now you play the role of a Vyasdev. You dictate him what needs to be done tomorrow, what I need to speak. I mean, the excitement I had before meeting Maharaj, I was completely blank. I was thinking, what am I going to say to Maharaj? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm such a small person, and I was blank. And Rajchandra Prabhu, a few seconds I was blank. He's like, say something. So what came to my mind, and I just said, Maharaj, I've heard in one of the lectures you have shared, I like the point which you have shared about Jesus saying to one of his disciples, if you are lukewarm, I spit on you. Maharaj looked at my face with gravity and he said, you got it wrong. And I was like completely bold in whatever I said. And then Maharaj said, he never said spit on you. He said spit you out. There is a difference between the two. Spit on you means you can remain in front of him. Spit you out means I don't even want to look at your face. So that's what it meant to Maharaj when it comes to being lukewarm. So on another instance, next day when Maharaj spoke and, being a marketer, I did not know what is marketing until I heard Maharaj. In one statement, he actually defined what is marketing. He said, marketing is not about the product or service. It's about the culture in which product is marketed. That is marketing. So Maharaj is the one who actually taught me marketing. And on another occasion, when I was in Dubai with Maharaj, we had a program at the YPO. There were many Muslim leaders who were expected to attend, and they wanted a meditation session with Maharaj. And while we were going for the event, till the time we get to the venue, I was thinking, what is Maharaj going to tell to the Muslims? And as soon as we got there, it was a dark room. They came up with yoga mats, everything. There were which were there. And Maharaj actually started meditating and he said, I'll chant the name of the Lord I worship and you can chant the name of the Lord you worship. After the event was over, we were walking towards the car and one of the Muslim leaders actually was next to me talking to Maharaj to drop him to the car. And, he looked at Maharaj and he said, Swami, you have touched my soul. Please let me know anything I can do for you. I can give you a check. You can sign. You can write the amount you want. These two experiences actually taught me, on several other occasions, when I've traveled with Maharaj, I've seen Maharaj at some point, not even able to stand because of bad health. On several occasions, Maharaj has said, I've crossed 65. We need to move fast. So these experiences, some of them have been very grave. And I pray on this auspicious day of Maharaj's appearance that, may I not be living a life as a lukewarm devotee. May I have the same sense of urgency in Krishna consciousness. And let Maharaj be the Vyasdev. And I have the ability or conviction like that Muslim leader to offer my life as a blank check without conditioning. So Maharaj can write whatever he wants to. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mahaprakash Prabhu. That is really a very thought-provoking idea to ruminate on. There are many things that His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj has done in a very revolutionary way in community building within our society. Like starting the counselor system. One time, one senior counselor asked Maharaj, this was many years ago when it had begun, that Maharaj, we have our family life, we have our devotional life, we have our devotees who are counselees, their life. We are feeling stretched and stressed. What do we do? So Maharaj said, the whole counselor system began because I was stressed and stretched. That's what you're supposed to do and carry forward. Another very, very revolutionary thing which made a very strong statement, probably first time I had seen, is when he initiated some brahmacharis along with their parents sitting there. So the brahmacharis would go take the blessings of the parents and then come and take initiation. And then there were many parents who were getting initiated of brahmacharis. So the brahmachari would go and offer their respects to their parents. Then the parents would come and receive initiation from Maharaj. This was something that is a very, very powerful statement that it's about blessings, and the whole family could also be taking up Krishna consciousness in a very, very mature and broader perspective and understanding. If the dealings are very, very respectful, appreciative, and cordial. Another very important initiation that happened was the children of all the devotees. That was like another amazing thing. And I was really concerned, will these people really continue chanting? Because sometimes in a community there is a pressure. But I was very happy to see so many of the younger, next generation, third generation so to say, who are taken up and who are sincerely continuing the process. You know, especially in this kind of age, for that teenager and early 20s to take it up, it's not easy. And as one representation from there, we have two people will be speaking. One of them is Radhika Sakhi Mataji. The reason I said Radhika Shanbag first is everyone knows she's our very, very dear daughter of Mulidhar Prabhu and Radharani Priya Mataji. So, and in the meantime, I request Tulsi Manjari Mataji to kindly be around.
Hi, Bol. Firstly, I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to speak today. And I was really nervous as to what to say, so I might make some mistakes, so yeah. So when I was thinking of what to say, I realized that, you know, nowadays we see so many advertisements. Yeah, nowadays, you know, when we are traveling by road, we see so many advertisements for buildings and new upcoming buildings. And one thing I noticed was the way they advertise these buildings. Okay, so they won't just say it's a building. They'll try to advertise it to you or sell it to you as a community. They'll say, you know, if you stay in this building, you have a school close by, there's a hospital close by, we have a temple inside campus, your children have place to play, children have so many facilities. So because they realize that emotions and relationships play such an important role, you know, when you're investing in something like a house. So that's why they advertise it in that way. And when I was thinking, I was like, this is what Maharaj has done for us. You know, he's not only given us a community, he's made for us an entire second world, like an alternate world within the city of Mumbai. Like there's a school, there's a hospital, there's a temple, there's the farm. Then we go for yatras, we have drama festivals, we have so many things. So it's like an alternate universe within the city that he's created for us, a community. And I myself feel so fortunate that I have, you know, gained so much out of this. School is obviously, I've been in the school for like 12 years of my life, and the amount I've received from the school is, I can't describe in words. It's going to be the most integral part of my life. Also, the temple, obviously, I've literally, since the time I have any memories, I remember being, you know, in the temple. And the hospital, I've been there countless times. I even saw when my grandmother was passing away, the palliative care department in the hospital. It was so good. I could see the way she was being taken care of and how genuinely, you know, how much she loved being there, because the people over there were so kind and so loving and took care of her so well. And, you know, till the time I was in school, it was a very sheltered environment because, you know, I was only school, temple or home. Because all my friends were also from like these, you know, these areas. And then once I, you know, when I went out of school, I joined college, and when I started interacting with other people, I realized that it was so easy to get, you know, distracted because there's so many things going on. And I myself am not, obviously, I don't know the philosophy really well. I don't know how to, you know, mentor, like how to keep myself in control. So it's so easy to get distracted when you have people around you who are doing all sorts of things. But then I realized, you know, when I got initiated, and sometimes I used to also feel that what is all this? Maybe I should try it once. You know, people love it so much. There must be something to it. But the only thing I know that kept me going and still keeps me going is that the amount of love Maharaj has given me and all the devotees have given me, the concern he's shown me through, you know, his actions, through his words. And everything this community has given me, I realized that this is a very small thing that I can do as repaying. You know, at this point, it doesn't come from within for me. It's not like from within I want to chant or from within I want to follow everything. But it's just like everything Maharaj has given us and he's done for us, and like it's just a very small price, not a price, but it's a very small token of our gratitude and our reciprocation for Maharaj. So it doesn't seem difficult when you think of it that way. And when I was a small child, I remember every time I met Maharaj, he used to just like, you know, take us in under his shawl and just like keep us there for so many minutes and just like knock our heads. And now obviously I've grown bigger, so that doesn't happen. But I realized that the temple and all the different projects are symbolic of that shawl. You know, till the time I am connected, till the time I try to keep coming to the temple, try to stay connected in some way, it's like his shawl, you know, is protecting me. It'll keep me safe. And I know that however difficult it might get and, you know, however overwhelming things might get sometimes, I always have a second home. I always have another world I can run to. And I know there are people, there's a whole family that's waiting for me and will, you know, just like be there to help me. And none of this would have been possible without you, Maharaj. So I'm so thankful and I'm so grateful for being a part of this wonderful family. Thank you.
Thank you, Radhika. Actually, I was told in France somewhere, there is a exhibit, a big hall which has an exhibition, where you walk in, there are huge chairs. You look like a dwarf, like a rabbit in front of, in a dining room, you know, huge chairs and huge tables and huge glass vases and things like that. The idea is, if you were a newborn and you walk inside a room, how do children see this whole, you know, like we see from top down, they see from bottom up. So like that, hearing Radhika Sakhi's presentation or offering helps us to understand the perspective of the next generation, how they see this community, which is difficult for us to understand unless we hear from them. Thank you so much for giving us that fresh, new, and a different perspective altogether of how they see this world. So as Tulsi Manjari Mataji is making her offering, I request Kesho Prabhu and Namamrita Mataji to be around. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. I love to read Radhanath Maharaj's quotes, which have such deep meaning. One of them is, it's worth going through tears to give pleasure to others. Love is higher than peace. Love means sacrifice. Sacrificing even our own peace for the pleasure of the beloved. This quote is amply exemplified in his own life. In the early days of Radha Gopinath temple, Radhanath Maharaj invested so much time and energy to develop Radha Gopinath congregation. He would visit homes of devotees and spend hours with the family members without bothering about his health. He would call devotees to his room and ask, "Why don't you come to see me?" Most of the devotees didn't want to disturb him, mostly because of his weak health. He would say, "I am not disturbed, please come." Now that the congregation is so big, devotees have to take an appointment to see him and specify the reason for meeting him. He loves all the devotees equally. He is compassionate towards all. Only due to lack of time and health reasons, he can't give so much time as he did in the past. He appreciates any small service done by devotees and makes each one feel he or she is very dear to him and is the best devotee. In turn, everyone loves him and wants to serve him. The verse most often glorified by Maharaj is trinadapi suni chenam. He himself is humble and inspires others to be humble. The devotees may deviate from the standard behavior, but remembering his teachings, they once again become united in service. Because of his purity and sacrifices, we see the results now. We are such a wonderful congregation of brahmacharis and grihastha devotees, each one unique and wonderful, who can keep devotees bound together. How wonderful is our congregation. We have the drama festivals, which Maharaj himself attends to encourage devotees, Gopa's Garden, Bhaktivedanta Hospital, with devotee doctors who cater to the physical, mental, and spiritual need of the patients. Maharaj has such impact of compassion and love on each one of he meets. Now he is concentrating on Govardhan Eco Village, where you have the temples of the Goswamis, as in Vrindavan, to fulfill the desire of his spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He goes to GAV and invests so much time there and has converted it into such a beautiful place, which is almost like a tourist center. Devotees coming from abroad who visit GV all declare it is so wonderful. People from all walks of life visit GV, and it's Maharaj's vision to make it a place of pilgrimage. I pray to Lord Krishna that Maharaj is able to accomplish all he desires for the welfare of humanity, and hope that I can do whatever possible to assist him in the mission. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, actually, watching Keshav Prabhu and Namamrit Mataji after yesterday's program, where such an amazing way the glory of GEV first time was revealed in an amazing way, we can see how Srinathji Prabhu has so wonderfully left the legacy behind. Graciously and responsibly they have taken up the services of GV and doing it, putting their heart along with Mataji. They are really putting their heart into it. So, Keshav Prabhu and Namamrit Mataji, and in the meantime I request Vamshidhar Prabhu to kindly be around.
Hare Krishna. I feel I have already said too much. After yesterday's program, I mustn't take up precious time of all the devotees. I only want to remember one incident years ago. It was just after we were married and we were in Maharaj's presence. We were very young then. Etiquette was very different. Maharaj was sitting in our room, and Keshav Prabhu, he threw the car keys to me, and I caught it. And Maharaj, in his typical way, giving profound instruction in a very simple way, said, Namamrita, remember, whatever Keshav throws at you, you must learn to catch. I thought, I really remember this instruction always. And I thought, yes, Maharaj, how simply you give such profound instruction. And I must always remember these words. So, Keshav Prabhu is always throwing something new. I'm still learning to catch. So over to him today.
The frequency of throwing things, though, has substantially decreased. And the novelty factor also has substantially reduced. Since we've known each other for 37 years now, so. I hate to give away my age, but unfortunately, time is taking its toll. Dear Maharaj, please forgive me, I'd prefer to read because I get too emotional in these sort of situations. I'm not an emotional man otherwise. But, so please forgive me. Dear Maharaj, I was just thinking the other day that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, in his very first meeting with Srila Prabhupada, instructed him to preach in the West. Actually, if you see, Srila Prabhupada met his Guru Maharaj only very few times. But he took this opportunity that was offered in the form of his Guru's instructions to be his life's mission. He then embarked on the Jaladuta to the United States, and the rest is history. In turn, Srila Prabhupada created so many opportunities for his disciples to fulfill Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prophecy, to go to countries all over the world and establish temples, deity worship, Sankirtan, distribution of books, and our Vedic philosophy. So today ISKCON, we see, is the largest, most diversified Vedic organization in the world. In the same parampara, Radhanath Maharaj, through his causeless mercy, has offered us so many opportunities to serve. We first started off with the Radha Gopinath Mandir, which still forms the nucleus, the Bhaktivedanta Hospital, the Anamrita food distribution program, Barsana Eye Camp, the Govardhan Eco Village, and so many others. My parents, Sri Naji Prabhu and Maitri Priya Mataji, in the recent years have been very closely associated with the Govardhan Eco Village. It is a project, as you all know, is the closest to Radhanath Maharaj's heart. Not that the other projects are not important, but today, as his heart has moved from one project to the other, it resides very firmly over here. So post my father's passing away, I have been involved in doing some seva there at Govardhan Eco Village. In that, I have seen that as soon as Maharaj sets foot in Govardhan Eco Village, he completely metamorphosizes. I have not seen him, he is a very detailed person when he wants to be, but I have not seen him so detailed in every tiny aspect. You know, Govardhan Eco Village is an 80-acre property. It is not a village, it is a city. And it is becoming into a bigger and bigger city as per Maharaj's vision. But he knows every plant in there, he knows every flower in there. And the level of detail that Maharaj goes into, it's just unbelievable, you know. For someone like him who's traveling around, spending much less time in Govardhan Eco Village than he would like himself to spend. The level of detail and his heart is really in there. So reading a booklet, and I did mention this in the Govardhan in our Jagannath Puri Yatra, titled Transforming Hearts, really helped understand Maharaj's vision. And I'd just like to read a little couplet from there, which forms the preface of this booklet, which has been written by some of our God brothers, which is a distillation of many of Maharaj's lectures on Govardhan Eco Village. So the preface actually starts as follows. While you are doing work here, I will be preparing. While you are doing work here, I will be praying for you in the yatra. We will be visiting holy places. You will be here creating a holy place. These are the words of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj to the brahmacharis at Govardhan Eco Village who stayed back during the South Indian Yatra in 2010. This, in my humble opinion, is Maharaj's offering to the world. A legacy he wants to leave behind, a city of pilgrimage for transforming hearts through nourishing the body, mind, and soul. The other day at Krishna Chandra Prabhu's house, Gaurang Prabhu was giving a lecture and he gave a very interesting example. He said that in this world, 97.5% of the world's water is in oceans and seas and is salt water. And of the balance 2.5%, which is fresh water, about 70% is locked up in ice caps and glaciers. So the usable water that we have to access is only 0.7%. It is such a precious commodity, but we don't really see it that way. And hence we don't value it to be that way. Honestly, Radhanath Maharaj's desire is to complete all the works at Govardhan Eco Village and fulfill this vision. It is a great opportunity for us to do service and to please him. He really wants to complete this fast. I've known Maharaj, I've been fortunate enough to know him through my parents since 1985. I've hardly ever seen Maharaj be in a hurry to do anything. He's always the last person to enter the last bogie of the last train. He's always the last person to enter the flight. But this is one place where on numerous occasions, in fact, every time we have a meeting on Govardhan Eco Village, the one thing that comes out so clearly, besides, of course, that his heart lies there, is his reminding us constantly on the timing. He really is in a hurry, and it is our endeavor, Namamrita, mine, my mother's, and the rest of our family to help, try to fulfill this vision in the shortest perceptible time. Maharaj's style is never to impose his will on anyone. It's a choice we need to make for ourselves. As is the case with pure devotees, their desires finally manifest. It is us who have this opportunity to synchronize our service. Connect whatever services we are involved in any way to the Govardhan Eco Village. As was said earlier by Radheshyam Prabhu, please follow your heart. But all of you know where Maharaj's heart lies. On this auspicious day of his Vyas Puja, I pray for his blessings to empower our family to be of service to him, to fulfill his vision in that shortest possible time. In this case, time is really of essence. I would also like to thank Maharaj for all he has done for our family over the last 39 years that we've known him, and remain grateful and deeply indebted. We cannot imagine our lives without him. Our fledgling and frail spiritual practice would have otherwise long withered away. We are trying to follow what he has taught us, to earn with integrity and to spend with compassion, and always humbly be in the service of Guru and Krishna. We would like to promise today, Maharaj, to do our best. Thank you very much for everything. We remain your servants, Namamrita Devi Dasi and Keshav Das. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Keshav Prabhu. I fully agree with Prabhuji when he said, never seen Maharaj pushing things. The first time that I'm seeing is personally getting involved and into every practical detail, because he actually understands the amount of connectivity and the amount of preaching that this project can do to showcase the application of Krishna consciousness to the world at large in this time and situation, to the whole world. So surely we will pray at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and Maharaj also to empower you and your whole family to do this most significant service of this most significant project, which can have the most significant impact on the world today. Thank you. As Vamshidhar Prabhu makes his offering, I request Jyoti Mahajan Mataji to kindly be around.
Hare Krishna. So, my sincere gratitude to the management of Sri Radha Gopinath Mandir for giving this wonderful opportunity once again. As congregational builders, not these real estate builders I am talking about, spiritual congregation builders, we have tried very hard along with the support of the brahmacharis with whom I have excellent relationship, and I assure and promise that it will be there till my lifetime to build the congregation to what extent it is today. right from Panvel to Airoli. It's about, say, almost 20 kilometers. So every stretch, we have wonderful congregation, and preaching is going in full swing. And I must acknowledge His Grace Radha Gopinath Prabhu was the first one to come and inspire all of us. And because of the congregation building, we have achieved so many things. Next comes the fundraising. Always when people, they introduce me, fundraising and all. Unless we have a congregation, wonderful congregation, and the devotees committed to the congregation, other activities automatically will follow. During 2010, His Grace Achyut Jagannath Prabhu, the illustrious father of His Grace Gauranga Prabhu and illustrious husband of Her Grace Sri Sachi Mataji. Myself and Prabhuji, we were sitting after the Vyas Puja was over, and Radhana Swami Maharaj normally takes a stroll like this. And in those days, we have seen a lot of quotations everywhere of Maharaj. One among them was, if somebody praises you, you treat it as a warning. Then we are reading that. The next one, envy of a devotee can turn all of your good qualities bad. मैं बोला ये दोनों विकेट हमारा गुल हो गया इसमें सुन के. So I asked Maharaj, this statement is too much, and our 2 ears and 1 mouth is too less to hear and speak about your glories. Maharaj said, in all his humility, you go and sit there and hear about your glories, then you will understand how boring it is. And he was meaning it, because artificially saying one thing, and as Madhavananda Prabhu said about real thing, that we could see the genuineness in our Guru Maharaj. And yesterday in Sinaji's Prabhu's, I would not say it's a house, it's a dham, where Maharaj mentioned about 2 wonderful qualities a devotees, among other qualities, should possess. One is humility, another is gratitude. In order for all of us to progress in bhakti. Maharaj gave a beautiful, seva in the dham, recently concluded Jagannath Puri Dham. Govardhan Ashraya is a time-sharing concept which Maharaj had, in his view, in consultation with the board headed by Keshav Prabhu and others. And he told me to sit in the stall and take the commitment and registrations. And we were doing it to the best of our knowledge and ability with the team. And every day, believe it or not, after Maharaj completes his round in the morning, goes inside the kitchen, first find out what are the facilities, how devotee will be served, then makes it a point to come to that stall and ask, what is the score? So every day I used to tell him. Then one day it so happened, I said 21. What was yesterday? I said 17. So 4. So he just calculates and go away. And the last day he came, I said, Maharaj, it's around 48. Oh, it's very good. And if your blessings, I said, Maharaj, I need BEP from you. He said, what is it? Your blessings, your empowerment, and your prayers. If all these 3 are there, what is not achievable in this lifetime? I asked Maharaj. Definitely it can be achieved, and this project will be, tremendous success. Normally, if you go for a job, you will be interviewed once, twice, through the conference call, through the video call, this thing. But our ISKCON is always special. There is no interview. They straight away appoint you. As it happened in GV, phone call is coming from Gaurang Prabhu, Keshav Prabhu, Haribol, congratulations. I said, what happened? Now you are the head of CSR there. You have to take care of this. Arey Baba, you have not interviewed me and all those things. And I said, ho jayega. Guru Maharaj ka blessings hai. Aap ho jayega karke. So last week, Guru Maharaj called me there. So it was a Tuesday. So traveling to and fro 5 hours and spending quality time with him is only 30 minutes. So I was thinking, why to travel 5 hours? Instead of that, in Radha Gopinath temple, we could have had the meeting for 1 hour. But afterwards, I realized how this project of GV is so much dear to him. And from his body language, I could make out he is so relaxed in GV. And at the same place 4 years back, I had this, similar interview with him. And it was wonderful. Then Maharaj asked me how we can raise funds for the various projects. So I told Maharaj, it is very easy. How? I said, our congregation is such a variegated congregation. such wonderful professionals, both Matajis and Prabhujis, very highly qualified, working in very big multinational companies like Sri Mahaprakash Prabhu and all. He is organizing a lot of seminars and such contacts he has. So under in CSR, I told him, not less than 120 to 150 crores per annum, this congregation has got the potential to rise. Maharaj was saying, thinking, how it is possible? I said, very easy. Every one of you, please, it is not, I am enforcing on you. You can give your contacts to us. You will not find time because what happens, for every proposal you have to go almost 50 times. Shoe gas jayega. Okay, so you don't have time, but we have time. And if you have time, there is inclination. If you have inclination, there is a time. HMT ka, if you remember the advertisement, if you have the inclination, we have time. ऐसा बोल के उन्हें HMT का गड़ी भेजा है. So here, if you have the inclination, and I am telling you, today it will look, अरे क्या बात करते हैं करके, 120 crores is not far away, irrespective of the project. Whether it is hospital, school, GV, or whatever, Annamrita, whatever it is. I'll tell you a simple example of Annamrita. Just coming before, 2 weeks back, we entered into a MOU with Mahanagar Gas Limited. This is for only 5 months. 65 lakhs rupees MOU we signed. Okay? For 25,000 children feeding every day. Believe me, then what they said, the due diligence was going on for 9 months. And even after signing MOU, the due diligence is going on. I said, you take your own time, no problem. But once we are married, we will not divorce, I said. Because we should be eternally committed to this project. Let me tell you, ISKCON I told Guru Maharaj, ISKCON has got a huge brand value. Whether today we know it or not, the world knows. The world wants to get associated with ISKCON. Okay? And today, we should take this opportunity and completely exploit in the right way the CSR funds for the various projects. Then you will understand, 120 crores aise aa gaya. Aayega jarur, kyun nahi aayega? Everyone, you will have some big shot known to you very closely. Talk to them. Then our team will go and raise the funds. Then you see the chamatkar. What GV is looking, Maharaj has told somebody, just hardly 10% we have achieved what he has got the vision. So Srila Prabhupada's mission, vision, dream, he is fulfilling. So it is our duty to fulfill his dream, vision and mission. You agree with me? और थोड़ा जोर से. Yeah, it's quite satisfying. I am truly inspired by Sinaji Prabhu's family. Keshav Prabhu Sinaji Prabhu was also telling me, we have to push all these GV projects very hard and all these things. People have to go there and work. Then what about my stock exchange and other? Forget it. You go and work there, automatically things will be taken care. Now, Keshav Prabhu was telling me one day, I am spending more time there than Apar Industries. So, and kya beauty hai, Krishna will definitely make good, in your business also. Don't worry about the tension, mat lijiye. I can guarantee you, when we do it for our Guru Maharaj, automatically things, find its own place and all those things. And lastly, Guru Maharaj, I would like to take a oath on this auspicious day that till my last breath, we will surrender to you in whatever way possible and give the best for the movement. And I told Maharaj last week that I have got this much is the bank balance. I don't have any mutual funds, fortunately. Equities I have sold off at the right time because of your inspiration. And you please take all these and give me a small place for me and Janapriya to live. She is very simple, So by that, at least to that extent, whatever you are envisaging the amount, it can come down and can be, for your Srila Prabhupada's mission. Maharaj just seeing and smiling. I am just waiting for that day so that we can give entire thing to Guru Maharaj. It is not that what Madhavanand Prabhu is, this contrast to that, because it's not a lip service, because we are in that capacity to do it. I don't have EMI. That is easy, monthly installments. But we have extended, these children, if you are there is a commitment is there. We don't have both, So right now, tomorrow if he says, we can come and, fully surrender to you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Now you know why Vamshidhar Prabhu was chosen as the fundraiser. Give him a mic, give him an audience, no topic necessary. Same topic will come in various forms. That is his absorption in trying to serve the mission. He just thinks, breathes, lives fund collection. So if you want, just be around him and you'll be started. So thank you, Vamshidhar Prabhu. If you really want to thank him, say 3 times. So now we have Jyoti Mahajan Mataji, because we have a lot of South Bombay devotees. We wanted one represented even from there. And as she is making her offering, I request Ras Manjari Mataji, if she is around, to be near the mic.
Hare Krishna. When I got a call from His Grace Rohini Nandan Prabhuji to speak on this glorious occasion of Maharaj's Vyas Puja, I was taken aback. I couldn't believe it. My initial reaction was, no, I cannot do this. I am not qualified to speak. Thankfully, His Grace Anand Gopal Prabhuji and my children convinced me to speak. I am truly grateful and humbled as I stand here today to have got this opportunity to pour my heart out, my feelings, my love for my Guru Dev. Before I was introduced to ISKCON, I did not know who a Guru was. When I came here, I realized that Guru is a representative of the Lord, one who has studied the scriptures in full and is completely realized. Rukmani Devi, she got attracted to Krishna when she heard about him from the sages who came to her father's palace. My attraction towards Guru Maharaj began when I heard about him from senior Vaishnavas. The more I heard about Guru Maharaj, the more I heard him speak through his lectures, my enthusiasm, excitement to see him grew and increased. After that, whenever in the temple I would hear that Maharaj is doing his rounds, I was rushed to him. I would try my level best that Maharaj should notice me. After some time, I realized that Vani is more important than Vapu if I want to make progress in my spiritual life. One day, we were in the temple doing our Bhagavad Gita class when news came to us that Maharaj is standing outside the Prasadam hall. We all flew as if we had wings to see him, to take our blessings. I vividly recollect that when I saw Maharaj, I was struck by the simplicity, the warmth and compassion in his eyes the moment I saw him. The positive vibes and aura that he exuded was for so real. Then I realized how fortunate I was when I had a little bit of interaction with my Guru Maharaj in his room. When we were leaving his room, Palika Mataji gave him a box of sweets and a picture of Radha Gopinath to give me. She had accompanied me there to meet Maharaj. Maharaj said, I want to give Mataji something else. He opened his cupboard and gave me a Krishna book which was printed in China. I was very pleased and excited when I received this gift. It was a special moment for me, something I will cherish forever. One day, Maharaj was in the temple hall and happened to be there. I walked towards Maharaj to speak to him, but he turned and went away. I must say, I was extremely disappointed. A few days later, Maharaj was present in the drama festival. When it was the interval time, Maharaj came out to greet all the devotees. He specifically came up to me and said, Mataji, did you want to say something to me a few days back? This was most unexpected. Again, I was struck by Maharaj's simplicity and his intense devotee care. Such is the potency of his care for his devotees that all this is also manifested in his senior devotees, who nurture and take care of aspiring devotees like myself with sensitivity and love. The Sangha of devotee care embodies the concept of personalism, which is so integral to the spirit pervading in Radha Gopinath temple. Besides having the good fortune of interacting with Maharaj a few times, I also feel blessed that I've learned so much from Maharaj in my Krishna consciousness. By being present, Maharaj has helped to create an atmosphere to facilitate chanting in the early morning. Coming together of so many devotees chanting with attentively and with enthusiasm inspires me to go there for chanting every morning. Maharaj's aura and energy has created an ambience that is so conducive and enhances the consciousness of all devotees. For example, the early morning beautiful darshan of the deities, the Tulsi Aarti, the sweet devotional singing by the serious practitioners, all this leaves a lasting impression on our minds. Through Prahlad Maharaj, through the example of Prahlad Maharaj, we know when he was asked to take a benediction from Narsimha Dev, he said, as a Lord's devotee, I do not engage in any business transaction. Maharaj always, through his lectures, that devotional service is unconditional love, just to give and not to expect anything in return. I imbibe this in my services in the temple. Through Maharaj, my sambandh with Krishna gets stronger every time when I hear the glories of Krishna from Maharaj. Maharaj's deep insight on Krishna's pastime keeps me absorbed, and step by step, step by step, my relationship is established with Krishna, which was lost. Maharaj is also the curator and the protector of the Radha Gopinath temple in so many ways. Because of Maharaj, we have the Srimad Bhagavatam class, which has changed my lifestyle completely. From jeans to saris, from partying to temple programs and kartals and kirtans, this transition for me has been so smooth and slow, only because of the nurturing and the love that I get from all the devotees in the temple because of Maharaj's mercy and grace. Maharaj is also instrumental in getting together all the Matajis for the Garland Seva, for the dedication, who serve the deities with so much of enthusiasm, service mood, and humility. I must say that I look forward to my services in the temple with great happiness. And lastly, I would like to conclude from a verse from chapter 5, verse 7, which is very close to my heart and reminds me of Maharaj. One who works in devotion, who's a pure soul, who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though working, such a person is never entangled. Maharaj, I seek your blessings that I may stay fixed at your lotus feet of Lord Krishna and serve him with a humble heart and service mode. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. You must have really rehearsed well. Two quick announcements. Number one, the park closes at 12 noon. So those devotees who have their children in the park can go immediately and collect their children from there and bring them back. Secondly, it's almost going to 12, and we had plans of finishing by 12:30 at least, bit here and plus and minus 5-10 minutes, and we have quite a few people whom we had chosen to make their offering. So kindly try to be a Saragrahi, be eloquent. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, eloquence is essential truth spoken concisely. So now as Ras Manjari Mataji is going to make her offering, I request Srinivas Acharya Prabhu to kindly be ready. And please remember 4 and at best 5 minutes.
Hare Krishna. I genuinely thank the temple authorities for giving me this opportunity to speak few words in glorification of Guru Maharaj. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Maharaj, in the search of quenching the spiritual thirst, your journey encountered countless difficulties. Some of them were actually life-threatening, like sitting still with a mongoose in your hair for the entire night, attacked and surrounded by wild dogs in the middle of the night in a small village in Kathmandu, faced with a snake charmer, and so many. But how, Gurudev, you never complained. Why me? As in this world, all of us choose to complain for every small difficulty that comes across us. Instead, you not only tolerated but navigated your life by embracing all the inconveniences and thank Lord with a grateful heart for teaching you wonderful qualities like patience, humility, simplicity, tolerance, compassion, and so many. Thus, by remaining peaceful, you were showering causeless mercy upon anyone and everyone who came in contact with you, and thereby give them a hope to come out of this cycle of birth and death. Personally, Gurudev, you have showered such extreme compassion, love, and mercy upon me and my entire family, and I am extremely grateful from the core of my heart. Please continue to keep us at the shelter of your lotus feet. I would just like to share one small incident. Once, Madhvanand Prabhu phoned me in the hospital that Maharaj needs his ear cleaning and he will be coming to your consulting room. So I was really very excited that I've got such a wonderful opportunity to serve, but at the same time, I was very nervous. And soon Maharaj came accompanied by Madhvanand Prabhu in the OPD. Maharaj smiled at me, he told me, "Can you please help me hear Srimad Bhagavatam clearly?" I examined his ears and he had a very hard wax. Now generally, to all the patients, we give them the drops for 4 to 5 days so that the wax gets softened and we can do the painless cleaning. So I was very nervous that I have to do it right now. And I told Maharaj that, Maharaj, I will be putting drops for few minutes because I don't want to endure any pain to you. And Maharaj said, he just started laughing in his usual style. And he said, I'm used to pain. Pain and inconveniences are part of my life. Then he laughed and he said, in fact, it is a sense gratification for me. And I was just contemplating that, yes, it's so true. From his personal life, we have seen so many incidences that he goes to any extent to endure pain and inconveniences for the pleasure of devotees. Of course, finally, I managed to clean painlessly without giving him any pain. And he was very happy, thanked me that now I can hear Srimad Bhagavatam clearly. Maharaj, actually, you are the one who is giving Srimad Bhagavatam in Krishna to all of us. Thank you very much. I hope that I can learn a drop of this quality of tolerating pain and inconveniences and share the love and mercy with others in a small, insignificant way, thereby contributing in helping you, serving your mission to please Srila Prabhupada. I pray to Shri Shri Radha Gopinath to grant you a very, very long and healthy life. Thank you, aspiring to be the servant of your servant, your daughter Asman.
Brahmanda Brahmite, kono bhagyavana jeev gets the right mic to speak. So as Srinivas Acharya Prabhu is making his offering, I request if Gaurang Prabhu is here, can kindly come near the stage. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Seeing this occasion here, it reminds me of one nice pastime of Srila Prabhupada, which happened in 1977. It was in 1977, and Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan. Those were his last days. And disciples were just serving him. So one fine morning, two dignitaries came to meet Srila Prabhupada. The most prominent among those two was K.J. Somaya. K.J. Somaya, he has, I think, a number of institutions under his name, and he was a very dear friend of Srila Prabhupada. So he entered Prabhupada's room in Vrindavan, and Prabhupada was on his bed. He was in his bed, he could not get up. So K.J. Somaya saw Prabhupada's condition, he started crying. And he said that, Swamiji, I need a few private moments with you. Will you please request your disciples to just vacate this room right now? So all the disciples were taken aback. Never ever this situation arose that they have to vacate the room, and only K.J. Somaya and Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, vacate the room. Some started grumbling, Are, aisa kaisa? This situation never arose, why? One of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, I think it was his secretary, as he was leaving the room, he put on the recorder machine. Let us at least hear what is going to be the conversation which is going to take place. So they spoke for a long time. All the disciples were outside the room. And when K.J. Somaya came out, all the disciples ran in and took out the cassette. What exactly was the discussion? They put it on. And K.J. Somaya asked this question, Swamiji, you have created this legacy of ISKCON. Who will carry forward this legacy? ये विरासत को आगे कौन बढ़ाने वाला है? And Srila Prabhupada, he didn't name anyone. He said, the one who follows my instructions sincerely, he will carry forward this movement. today, in this place, when I see so many of my God brothers and God sisters, my heart swells with pride because I am having a hope that one amongst us who is sincere, he will carry forward the legacy of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Srinivasacharya Prabhu. That was a clarion call for becoming sincere to each and every one of us. So as Gaurang Prabhu is here, so he's on his way. I request Baldev Prabhu to kindly come over. And in the meantime, I request Adikesho Prabhu and Prem Leela Mataji to kindly be around.
Hare Krishna. I'd like to thank His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, my Gurudev, and all the God brothers and God sisters for honoring me with this wonderful opportunity. It's quite tough to be standing here and speak philosophy, but to speak about a great devotee is very difficult. I would rather be very convenient and comfortable serving Radhanath Maharaj in a very far off position than to speak about him. Serving is little more easy than speaking words. And Rodinandan Prabhu just told me that, Prabhuji, you kindly speak something on the yatra. We just finished Jagannath Puri Kartik Yatra. To please him, I'll speak because right now my mind is fully with book distribution. I have to remove it out and speak about yatra. So this happened last year before Mayapur Yatra. And we had gone for the advance party, myself and all Dham Sevaks, we were traveling. And then in the evening, we would come and meet. So one particular day, we had a very intense meeting, where to go, which place. And we were not able to come to a particular decision. So we are the new managers in Yatra right now, but we always rely upon our important devotees like Sanat Kumar Prabhu and Shaman Prabhu. They always come in right in crisis and guide us. So this was Shamanan Prabhu. He told me, Prabhuji, I have a nice story for you. And then he told me a wonderful story about Radhanath Maharaj leading yatras in those days where he would be in front. So Radhanath Maharaj was traveling, actually taking a yatra. He was leading the kirtan, dancing in the kirtan. All the devotees are following him. This is Vrindavan Dham. And going through all those lanes, quite late in the night, around 8 p.m. or so. And in those days, we never had any flex schedules, where we are going, when we are coming, when is the next prasadam. Everything was Krishna willing. So Shamanand Prabhu was part of the organizing team, and he wanted to know where we are going next. And Maharaj was ecstatic, he was dancing, and he was going on a kirtan. So he went ahead and asked Maharaj, what is the next plan? And Maharaj said, when I am in Vrindavan, I don't plan. Shaman was thinking, he is going ahead and the whole yatra is following him. And Maharaj is saying that I don't have any plan when I am in Vrindavan. And Maharaj said, Vrindavan plans for me. So Shamanand Prabhu just stood there because he was yatra manager. And the whole Kirtan party went ahead. Few devotees in the back, they caught Shamanand Prabhu and said, Hare, kahan ja rahe hum log? Where are we going? Said, we don't plan in Vrindavan. Vrindavan plans for us. So they were shocked. Kya ho gaya, Prabhuji? Sab theek hai na? So directly from Maharaj, we got this information. So Maharaj goes in, enters into a temple premises, and there is Rup Goswami's Samadhi Mandir there. And then everyone realizes that today is Rup Goswami's disappearance day. And Maharaj sits there, sings beautiful bhajans of Rup Goswami, speaks of Rup Goswami's beautiful qualities. And then he mentions, you see, he called Shamanand Prabhu. I told you, I don't plan. Vrindavan plans for me. We had not planned, and just Rup Goswami directed us to him. And we are here in the association of Srila Rupa Goswami. So then Shamanpur told this to me. This is in between a heated discussion of where the yatra is going to be, right? Which places. And he's saying, Maharaj said, Vrindavan plans for me. So immediately all the pressure went down. And then Shaman Prabhu, we told that, that's wonderful, Prabhuji. So let's not plan. Let Mayapur plan for us. But then he corrected me that actually afterwards Maharaj called us and told that when we say Vrindavan doesn't plans for me, it means that we plan, but we ultimately have to depend on Vrindavan's plan. So that is how we can see in the yatra also, many things are not revealed. Like for example, many devotees ask us, Prabhuji, why don't you reveal the whole schedule in advance? The problem is that we do not know what is the schedule. So how can we reveal? So with few words of Vrindavan and Mayapur Yatra, I would like to read a very beautiful thing from a beautiful quote. I'll just take the quote from here. Recently, I got a wonderful opportunity of conducting IDC course, ISKCON Disciples course. So from there, I read a beautiful quotation. It is so overwhelming that I thought I will share with all of you. This is Srila Prabhupada from Chaitanya Charitamrita Anta Leela purport. And Prabhupada is saying, Vani continues to exist eternally. I repeat, Vani continues to exist eternally. Prabhupada says, although according to material vision, His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraj Thakur Prabhupada passed away from this material world on December 1936, I still consider His Divine Grace to be always present with me by His Vani, His words. There are two ways of association, by Vani and by Vapu. Vani means words, Vapu means physical presence. Physical presence is sometimes appreciable, sometimes not. But Vani continues to exist eternally. Therefore, Prabhupada says, we must take advantage of the Vani, not the physical presence. The Bhagavad Gita, for example, is Vani of Krishna. Although Krishna was personally present 5,000 years back and is no longer physically present, still the Vani is available for all of us. Then again, there is a quotation where one devotee comes to Srila Prabhupada, who is very busy preaching the mission of Srila Prabhupada in some far-off place. So he comes and he tells Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I am missing your association. I am staying so far away from you, I am serving you there, but I am missing your association so much. And at that time, Prabhupada points out, this is in Mayapur. So there is one mosquito which is sitting on Prabhupada's lap. And Prabhupada says, this mosquito is also associating with me. But the mosquito is troubling me. So what is the use of physical proximity when you're going to trouble me? Better you work on the Vani, my mission. So when I read this particular quotation and also the example of Prabhupada, I was just thinking about my own personal life. Somehow by Krishna's mercy, devotees from Bhaktivedanta Hospital, they preached to me. And 1994 was the time when I came to Krishna consciousness. Because of tolerance of all devotees, able to do so much service. I've been involved in many, many services so far. The ISKCON Youth Services, I'm preaching for the last 20 years. Then I'm also involved in the Yatra committee for a long time, and ad hoc Pujari services and all those things. But tell you frankly one thing, that there is one service where I got maximum reciprocation with my Guru Maharaj. I'm going to reveal that today to you. The right time, right month also. Every time when I travel and preach, I am surprised. I have been introduced as that he is the devotee who leads book distribution marathon. I don't consider like that. But wherever I travel, no matter who are there, first thing is I am introduced at book distribution marathon. I consider 12 months of the year I am serving as a youth preacher, as a temple manager, and 1 month in the year I serve as book distributor. But everyone introduced me like that. And I have no problem, but I am very surprised that Maharaj also feels the same way. Whenever he meets me, the first thing he'll always ask is, how are my parents? And second is, how is book distribution going on? In fact, Radhanath Maharaj once told me that for book distribution, you can anytime walk in my room and can tell me what's happening. So this is a privilege in today's day to enter into Maharaj's room and speak something. In fact, the last time we had this annual drama festival, and I could not go one particular day because of my ill health. My father called me when the interval was there, and he said that just now Maharaj met me, and he told him that we are so proud of your son that he is making Prabhupada proud by distributing his books. So again, one more thing. I have never heard Maharaj telling me about youth preaching, never telling about temple management, never telling about Kartik Yatra also, but book distribution again and again and again. In fact, when I met Maharaj the last year, when I announced the book distribution score to him, the total score, he saw the whole score and he asked me, "Are you happy doing it?" So then I realized one thing, that Maharaj actually wants us to be happy what we are doing. It's a very difficult task to be leading a book distribution marathon when I myself not so much inspired by this. But the point I'm saying is that the Vani, which I was quoting, that Vapu is very difficult, but the Vani is available, the instructions are available. And I have found that of all the sevas I am doing, I got recognition on that seva, which is a dire need. Maharaj always made me feel that we have very less devotees doing book distribution. So since you have taken the baton, please continue. So whenever I see the quotation of Prabhupada, if you want to please me, distribute my books. I also see Radhanath Maharaj there. If you want to please me, distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. So Maharaj, thank you very much for your kind help and your guidance, your wonderful association. That's inspiring all of us, and I hope and pray that I could somehow serve all of your devotees nicely. Thank you so much.
RG Media YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe.